such a hard time focusing and concentrating and remembering what I'm supposed to be doing? Why do I feel like I've got scrambled eggs up in my brain? Okay, or is that you right now? Are you feeling that? High achievers, I know this is very unsettling to us because we're used to being the driven, focused folks that all of a sudden might not feel that. Daniel Goleman talks about this when he studies the amygdala hijack. Have you heard of this? This is when you're having a stimulus, typically visual, maybe going into Walmart and seeing there's no toilet paper, right? A stimulus happens and our primal brain takes over, the part that thinks about keeping us alive. We get hyper-focused on that and we lose some of our higher reasoning ability. We actually disable a part of our brain because it's taken over and it says, we gotta stay alive, we gotta stay alive. This would be a time for that to happen, wouldn't it? Amygdala hijack, Google it, you can learn a ton about it. Daniel Goleman is the one that coined that term, but it's this idea that the energy and the focus of your brain, when it becomes survival, we lose some of our abilities, problem solving, planning, concentration. Anybody having trouble with their memory? Cognitive flexibility, being able to kind of move and shift in the moment, even be able to control our responses. I'm looking out and I'm watching people's behavior and I can see the evidence of amygdala hijack everywhere. I can even see it in my clients. I can see it in myself that all of a sudden I'm having trouble focusing. I'm having a little more trouble remembering. Amygdala hijack is real. It's a biological, neurological reaction and all of us are dealing with it in different ways. Here's a couple ways to help get your brain back so you can think clearly and be focused in the next few days. Number one, make sure you're controlling what you're looking at. Amygdala hijack typically happens when you have a visual stimulus. So if you're watching a lot of news that's stressing you out, please take a moment and remove yourself from it so you don't have to think and have that in front of you all the time. Here's another one. Name the emotion that you're feeling. If you can name, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm feeling stressed, it actually brings back the part of your brain, the logic part of your brain that helps your amygdala calm down. Another thing you can do is breathe. Try some box breathing. Breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, breathe out for 4, and rest. Do that a handful of times and you'll start to see your ability to calm your body down. The last one, take a time out. You need a walk, you need a little space for yourself, feel free to take it, even if it's 15 minutes. Show your body that everything's gonna be okay. Amygdala hijack is real, we're all in it, it's gonna make it hard to be productive. Do what you can to win your brain back and to lower your stress right now. Welcome to Working at Home, where time is an illusion. Let's talk today about time management and energy management and how those are different and maybe which one you wanna focus on these next few weeks. Time management is the old kind of school idea. You work 9 to 5, you know, how do I manage all the tasks I have and how long it will take? That is definitely one way to be productive. We have a ton of tools around that, the Pomodoro tool, Google time management tools, you'll find 1,000 of them. If you wanna go the time management route, a couple things to keep in mind. Your brain doesn't like to do the same thing for more than 90 minutes, but it does take 20 minutes to get into an activity. It actually takes 19. So it takes 19 minutes to warm up your brain to want to do something, and then it starts to tinker out at about 90 minutes. So time management is definitely one way to manage the next few weeks. The other way is energy management, and I'm wondering if this is more appropriate for us given the scenario that we're in. When our minds are in crisis mode and we're not able to think as clearly as we're used to, that would be common. Check out Daniel Goleman's amygdala hijack if you want to understand that more. Maybe we'll do a video for you on it. But this idea that we're all kind of in crisis mode means that your brain may not be running at full capacity. You may have trouble with working memory. You may have trouble thinking clearly right now and problem solving. And so energy management says, even if I have the time to do something, I may not have the physical, emotional, mental energy to make it happen. And so I have to keep that in mind when I plan my day. I know for me, by about 8 o'clock, my brain is like, zzz, zzz, zzz. I'm realizing about by dinner time, I'm starting to really tinker, like peter out and not be able to think as clearly as I usually am. That's why energy management, I'm doing these videos at 11:13 in the morning instead of in the evening when I'm used to doing them. So you think about energy management, it's you taking into account this situation right now and asking yourself, what do I have the energy to do? especially if you have some X factors you're not used to. Maybe you're working with your spouse, maybe you're at home with the kids, and you have your energy is getting thrown everywhere else too. So we've got to budget, not your time, but your energy and your focus, because you only have so much. Energy management gives you the chance to check in and ask, am I really going to be able to do this? And what do I need energetically to make this happen? I know for me, before we shot these videos, I'm standing here by myself in my dining room, and a tripod is on my dining room table. Okay, but before I shot these videos, it's 60 degrees out today. I was like, I gotta go for a walk. I gotta get outside. I can't just muster the focus and the energy it's gonna take to do these. I need to pour into myself first. So energy management gives you the opportunity to consider how to pour into your own mental, spiritual, emotional, physical energy so that you can get the task done. Try energy management for a day. As you're planning out your day, just saying, when is my energy at the best? When am I the most focused? When can I really get stuff done? I will say that typically a lot of decision making, like email separation, doing that right in the morning can burn your brain out real quick. But think about for yourself personally, what types of tasks am I trying to get done, and how can I manage my energy and be realistic during this time? You've got time management you can try. You've also got energy management. I suspect most of us will find it in between, or a way to kind of work with both. But know that because we're in a period we've never been in before, we've never had to deal with this much kind of stress as an entire society, we're all dealing with it together. Know that your energy might be a little lower, so just running on a typical calendar just may not work for you right now, and that's okay. High achievers, I'm looking at you. You're at home. I'm wondering if you have other people, or if you're by yourself in your apartment with your dog or your cat or your lizard. And I'm curious about a certain relationship that you have that is really coming to light right now. That relationship is with yourself and your self-talk, because this is what I know high achievers do all the time. They use fear. They use fear of failure. They use just uncertainty to push themselves to work really, really hard. And high achievers typically beat themselves up when they make a mistake. That's one of the top things I talk about during when I'm doing a talk called High Achiever Land. That's what we end up talking about all the time, is how do you speak kindly to yourself when things don't go as expected. So I know you're trying to be kind to other people. We're trying to be gracious to other people, but I'm curious, how are you speaking to yourself? Because how you speak to yourself inevitably pours out onto your team. And here's the thing, we're all living in the tension of truly what needs to get done to keep our jobs. And on the other end, I'm totally stressed out and overwhelmed. I have no idea what coronavirus means for me, for my family, for my own health, for the society, for economics, all of that, right? So we are kind of dancing between these. Do you ever find yourself one minute being like, I have to work, I have to keep going, I have to keep going. The other moment you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Okay, so we're all living between those two. So beating yourself up in the midst of that is not gonna be helpful. I wanna talk about a third way of being right now. And what it is we're gonna talk about how we keep moving forward so that you feel comforted by the known, by the things you already know how to do. By getting your work done, you will feel less anxious if you continue to get work done, high achievers. I know you. And how we also can speak to and be kind to ourselves. So how do we compassionately speak kindness to ourselves and still be productive? It's the difference between being like, oh, I gotta get this stuff done. I better just get it done, because if I don't, I might lose my job and things are going downhill and da da da. And instead saying, what is going to help me the best? What's going to give me some energy and some vitality so that I can get this done? Both can be true. You can take care of yourself right now and get work done. I think ultimately this whole experience is an interesting petri dish, because it's gonna show you what's inside of you that comes out when nobody's there to moderate it or change it. Your way that you talk to yourself, if you can make it compassionate, kind, and also keep yourself moving at a pace that's reasonable, you'll see that your stress will lower. Otherwise, you'll find yourself swinging into, gotta beat myself up, get it done, just get it done. Why am I behind? Why is this happening? And oh, I'm totally frozen. I better watch Netflix right now because I'm so overwhelmed. I can't do anything. Where's Tiger King when you need it, right? So what is that third way? It's compassion towards yourself. Speak kindly to yourself. How can you take care of you and get things done at the same time? That is so important during this season, but I'll tell you what, that will pay off long-term inside of your professional development. So outside of COVID, outside of remote work, we are always talking to employees, especially young employees, millennials and Gen Zs, about building a life team. This concept comes from social work, actually, where we look at how much an environment and relationships affect a human, and we call it a wrap. In this situation, we're calling it a life team. And so every individual, no matter where they're at in life, could really use this. And a life team is strategic people that you put in place to help you grow and create safety for yourself in different ways. So right now I'm thinking about the different buckets that we're all pulling from to get through this. We have an emotional well-being bucket, physical well-being, mental well-being, spiritual well-being. We've got all these areas that we need probably more input than usual to get through. So I'm curious, when you think about building a life team, we think, okay, who do I need on my team right now that will help me stay sharp mentally? And it doesn't have to be it could be like a teammate at work that you call every day at 9 o'clock to give yourself a 1-2, ready to go. Go get them, Tiger, okay? But it can also be somebody that you follow online. More than ever, this is a time to build a life team of people that you can even follow virtually to get the right messages in and not get too stuck on the news, you know what I'm saying? So think about who could be on your life team to increase your mental energy, who could be on your life team to increase your emotional energy. Maybe this is the time where you start getting back into stand-up comedy and you start watching stand-up, right? How about your physical well-being? I know there's a lot of companies that are like, you know, obviously Peloton is blown up, but if you have a way to work out at home or you have somebody that you really admire that you can watch, you're just building a little wrap of people that you can visit every day that can be on your team. And these can be real people too. They don't have to be, you know, a mega star trainer or anything like that, but who do you need that you can touch base with every week? We have to mimic what your life looked like when we could all be around each other. So one of the ways to do that and actually improve the quality of your life is to purposely choose who is gonna be on your life team in this season. We are all doing our best to take care of ourselves, find the people, the relationships, and the teachers and the mentors that you need in this season to help you get through, because there will come a day where we will be on the other side of this. And I'm sure none of us will ever forget it. And you get to decide what this time means, who you connect with, and how you make the most of it. Who will you put on your life team for these next few weeks? You might hire some, you might watch somebody's YouTube videos, you might binge somebody's YouTube videos. I'm binging Gary Vaynerchuk right now. But who can you be following? Who can you have true connection with and conversations with that will build you up in this time? What are some practical ways that I can stay connected to people that are on my life team, to my friends, to my family? One thing that we were talking about today, I was with a client on the phone, obviously, but we were talking about this idea of just doing those drive-by interactions. And I know for millennials, this might be hard because we don't like to pick up the phone and call, but we are all kind of starting to flex that muscle again. And planning for yourself, just 5-minute micro calls with friends. I did that this morning on a walk with my friend Grace. It was just a quick 5-minute, how you doing? Let me hear your voice. When we can FaceTime, we're FaceTiming, let me see your face. Because I think in our minds, I know for me, I was thinking, man, every single connection, I don't have 6 free hours, but I do have 5 free minutes when I'm eating an orange to talk to somebody else. So when you think about how you're connecting, it may not be these deep, rich, long philosophical conversations, but even just getting 5 minutes with somebody that already knows you, that cares about you, that can be really, really helpful. What connections for you bring meaning to you? Not necessarily everyone needs a text or a meme, but what connections are meaningful to you, and how are you making sure to get those? If you were to think about, if you work in an office typically, you do have drive-by conversations all the time, real quick, right? Hey, how you doing? Hey, cool shirt. Hey, blah, blah, blah. We are used to kind of quick conversations that are in person. So how can you recreate that for yourself too right now? Not every conversation has to be an hour-long meeting with an agenda. Just touching base with the people you love can help you feel really grounded during this time. 3 connections that you'll need in these next coming weeks. You'll always need them actually as a human being, but certainly these next few weeks. 1, connecting to yourself. The next one is connecting to other people. And the third one is a higher purpose, right? Ultimately, and you're probably not there yet, and I don't know that I'm there yet, is figuring out the meaning behind this, what it means to us, and how we can move forward from it. But here's what matters. There will come a day where this ends, and we'll be on the other side of it. And typically on the other side of grief, we find meaning. So I wonder for yourself, the relationship that you're creating right now with your future self, and processing for you, what does all this mean? Who am I gonna be on the other side of this? How do I connect meaning and purpose to this time in an authentic way? I hear people saying like, this is my chance to finally be a painter. This is my chance to finally write my book. And when I look at the way that humans respond to crisis, it's not typical that they become artists and masters of something, but I do think that it can be really helpful for us to have a future version of ourselves, a vision for what we do want to make of this time, because it will shape our character in ways that we couldn't imagine. So I'm wondering if you're willing to drive that ship for yourself, if you're willing to say, okay, at the end of this, I want to be somebody who's more connected to my family. I want to be somebody who's more connected to myself. I want to have a few people that I go through this with where we have a deeper relationship, a more authentic relationship because of it. I want to learn how to be able to focus in 2-hour chunks. I want to be able to be better at remote work. What is your vision on the other side of this that you can be aiming for on those days where we're just like, oh my gosh, day 14 of the quarantine. What is life? You have the opportunity to make meaning of this. And again, I'm not saying to go pie in the sky, think that this is the moment where you become an indoor gymnast and are at the Olympics next summer, but really, what's realistic for you? What vision can you cast for yourself in a spiritual, meaningful way that will help you move through this? That relationship with your spiritual, your higher self will make a huge difference as we all navigate the wild west right now, as we all try to figure this out together. So you've got your relationship with yourself, with other people, and then that higher being, that higher calling. I'm curious what that looks like for you right now.